specifically with regards to Web 2.0. And this is a term you've probably all heard, and I just want to put out there for everybody that doesn't know what these things are, some basic things that you've been hearing, probably been hearing about either through colleagues or just in the news or through your kids, and you want to sort of keep up. So it's part of our mission here at IWL to give you all the tools you can to make you want to realize. So here we go. I also want to point out that what we were talking about earlier, about getting your websites on search and those sorts of things, that's called SEO, search engine optimization. So the companies that will be talking to, that you will potentially be talking to, will specialize in search engine optimization. If you type in search engine optimization at Google or at Yahoo or anything, you will get tons and tons of data. So my recommendation would be to start there. There are a couple of books out there that are very good. Start with your own, and then think about getting out with a consultant and things like that. So that's just a note on SEO. All right, Web 2.0. What's Web 1.0? Right, the 2.0 came from somewhere. So 1.0 was your initial websites that were out there. There was a one-way stream of traffic and information. It was literally all content. Web 2.0 revolutionized the whole thing when it brought in the user interaction feature. So the minute you were able to start commenting on articles, I mean, now it seems to us so obvious, we expect to be able to click and comment on things. It wasn't quite the case 5-10 years ago. So that was the shift from 1.0 to 2.0. Now we see people commenting, we see content that's actually generated by the users. So yes, blogs are one of them, but even on things like your New York Times, etc., there's a whole section on user-generated content. What's it called? Citizen journalism. All these sorts of things have all come out now because of the user-generated content that's part of Web 2.0. A related term is social media. And that's what this whole concept of the web and Web 2.0 applications and features enabling human interaction, such that it's created these online communities that are very much part of our everyday lives now. I mean, we're talking Facebook, we're talking YouTube, we're talking any of the niche communities that you may be a member of, and if you're not, I'll actually point out some of them too, some for Indians, some for women, etc. So alright, so now we know what Web 2.0 is. I'm going to go through just some of the really revolutionary Web 2.0 tools that came out and literally now are like air to us because we use them all the time. So Wikipedia, everybody's familiar with Wikipedia? Great example of user-generated content. It's all written by people like you and me. The thing is that it's very well monitored. So when you go on there, and I could say, children, I could go in there and try and put my child on there, put a link to Karan Dhawan, guaranteed it'll be down in 20 minutes. So that's sort of the downsides of user-generated content, is if you're a website owner or even a website user, you have to be a little bit wary of what you're getting and what your sources are. Wikipedia is great for sort of overviews. So if you want to do SEO, type in SEO into Wikipedia and you get a general sense. I would be very careful about relying on it for absolute details. This is a tip for your kids who are referring to Wikipedia. Like we used to go to encyclopedias for references in scientific journals. They're now going to Wikipedia and they're learning the hard way that the data is not completely accurate. But nevertheless, very, very useful tool. That's just an example of what a page of Wikipedia looks like. Bloggers. So lots of talk about blogs have become very, very popular because they're not, you don't need to be a journalist. You don't need to have any sort of journalism training. You don't even necessarily need to have an audience. But I have a blog that I write for myself. And yeah, one day I'd like to publicize it to the world, but for the most part, it's an expression for myself. It's a sort of expression of my own thoughts. As Rohit was saying, very, very easy to set up. You can go to sites like Blogger, and you can go to sites like WordPress. It's free. If you want to buy a URL and customize it, that's where it costs a little bit of money. And again, on your handout, there are some examples of where you can do that. Blogs have really become sort of the tone of culture in society now, such that your mainstream media sites like the New York Times and CNN are referring to bloggers instead of it being the other way around. Early days it was the blogger would be saying, okay, and the New York Times says, whatever. But when there's any sort of major world event, the big gurus on the blogosphere are the ones that are being referred to. So there's a really interesting shift there because again, this whole idea of user-generated content and you as a user being as much the creator as well as the consumer of the content, it's very much our responsibility that's out there. So blogs are great. They are a very powerful business tool. Most companies will have a blog, big companies now, and they may write about trends in that general industry. They may write about specific products. They may write about events. They may write about anything that they think is relevant. But it's such an easy and it's such a cost-effective way to communicate with your audience. As you saw, we have a personal blog. You can have one for your business. You can have one for IWL. We have a blog, and in fact, we'll be writing about this organization. It's a very, very easy and really effective way of getting out there. Bad news is that everybody's doing it, so it's kind of hard to get your blog recognized. But it depends on how you choose to market it and stuff like that. So this is an example of what it looks like inside of Blogger when you're setting up a post. So as Rohit said, it's like you're filling in